Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Hampden, not Ibrox, Rangers' new temporary home ahead of the 2024-25 Premiership season. It's Rangers against Motherwell today. We're, as ever, going to talk through the teams, the big talking points ahead of today's 3 o'clock kickoff. So let's get right into it, and I will get Chris's thoughts on the big issues as ever. Rangers line up a few surprises in there, Chris. They go with Butland, Tavernier, Suter, Proper, and Ridvan. Proper, of course, making his Rangers debut. Diomande, Barron, and Lawrence as a midfield three. I thought you might see a change in there, given that that's the three that started the last 2 games, but no changes made by Clement today. Václav Černý doesn't make his debut, but he makes his first Rangers start. Scott Wright is a surprise inclusion over Hefty on the left wing. We'll come on to that. Cyril Dessers was always going to be the player starting at number 9. But Chris, your immediate thoughts on that, I guess, would be good to see Proper in, good to see Černý in, but still a couple of surprises. I thought you might see Dujon Sterling rotated in there. I definitely thought on the back of Tuesday you'd see Chefty in there. Is that just a case of building up minutes?
You would hope so, because I think come Tuesday night, if Scott Wright is playing wide on that left hand side, we know what the comments on the Rangers team lineup is going to be. We know what the reaction they're going to get online. We know what the comments are going to be on the video. I think people are very much not even in the last chance saloon with Scott Wright. I think people are long beyond that. It is a surprise to see him playing in that side, because he wasn't good in midweek, didn't play well at all.
And it felt like the manager actually made a comment about that at the press conference.
He didn't mention him by name, but he's paraphrasing him slightly, but he said along the lines of Hefty had to come in at half time because other players were not doing their job properly. Well, the man that he replaced was obviously the one that he was talking about there. So that's a surprise. You look at the bench, also Ross McCausland in there. We've even seen Dujon Sterling play off that side, so I think it is a surprise that Wright's there. Hopefully, it's not going to be a defining one. I think at some point we will see Shefty come in on that left hand side. As I said, I'd like to see him start there on Tuesday night when Dynamo Kiev are in town, and certainly that midfield three come Tuesday night. I would hope that it's Barron, Sterling, and Diomande. It seems a lot to ask Tom Lawrence to play all these games at the start of the season.
Yeah.
But you then look, say, well, you take him out today. There is no obvious replacement. The manager spoke about Todd Cantwell at his press conference yesterday. Also not part of the plans. Training separately, will not play for Rangers again. I'm assuming that the name Yanis Hadji will come up, given his scoring exploits this morning. But he's obviously not part of the squad. You asked the manager about that last Monday. So Rangers short of options in that number 10 area. So as much as it's a surprise to see Tom Lawrence start, the flip side of that is it's not a surprise. It sounds like a silly thing to say, but there is no natural alternative in there apart from moving Diomande up a line, putting Sterling in, and that's the manager maybe thinks that's too defensive for a game at home against Motherwell. The Rangers should have a lot of the ball. They are expected to dominate. They are expected to be on the front foot, so you can maybe understand why that's the setup. But come Tuesday night, I would hope and I would think that's not the same starting lineup that we're going to see.
The bench is Kelly, Matondo, Dowell, Sterling, Chefty, Balogun, Leon King, Ross McCausland, and Danilo. Get to a few comments in relation to that team. Maka says, just check the lineup. Good to see Proper starting, but right in ahead of Chefty. I hope Clement doesn't move Černý over to the left side. I think it will be Černý on the right, even though he is capable on the left. World's greatest DJ making the point that if Scott Wright does have a good record at any stadium, it is Hampden, but a lot of comments similar to what you'd expect, saying that Chefty should be starting there. What I would say, Chris, is that we referenced this maybe more in hindsight after the game on Tuesday, when Clement clearly, and we don't think about this much with managers, we only think about the starting 11. We don't think about what's the subs that they're going to make, how does this look in the long term. My guess would be he's going to play Tom Lawrence for about an hour today. He's going to bring Chefty off the bench, and Chefty will start on Wednesday night. And I also think Tuesday night. And I also think Dujon Sterling might start on Tuesday night as well. But I guess this is a theme that we've seen with Clement so far. And he'd probably say that it's to do with the fact that he's not had a fully fit start in 11 that can play at his intensity every 3 days. We've not ever really seen him select an out-and-out strongest starting 11. And that comes into fitness and availability. But he also does seem to be a manager who not maybe overthinks his starting 11, but certainly he doesn't always choose the conventional option. Is that fair to say?
I think as we know all too well now, we also do our predicted teams on the site ahead of every game, and the number that you actually get correct, it's definitely in single figures. I was maybe 3-4 last season. Maybe he's a very difficult manager to second guess, because you pick what you think is the strongest side. You pick the side that you'd like to see, but then you have to think, well, what's Philippe Clement thinking, and is he thinking that with that player? Is he thinking that with that player? It is a very difficult thing to do. So I don't think people should get too worked up about it. I think he has referenced in recent days, I think it was after the Hearts game, when he was asked about Proper and Czerny coming in to the side for the first Kiev game, and he spoke about trying to manage the squad through this run of games. He has to try and get everyone up to a core level of fitness. He's still trying to build some players up as players come back from injury. He has to get everyone to a base level. And while we don't see these games as pre-season games, he has said, I think it was ahead of the Hearts game last week, pre-season is not over, which again sounds a strange thing to say when the competitive games are here. These games are clearly must-win ones for Rangers. You can't treat them as pre-season games, but he's clearly still trying to get everyone through a certain programme to get them to that core level. So you then see someone like Leon Balogun, perhaps, who would be in that conversation for Tuesday night. We've also spoken about other players as well. I think that the main positive is that Czerny starts. We need to see him from the start. We need to get some minutes in him to build him up, because he's clearly going to be an important player for the squad and for the team. And Proper's also the main talking point. I think he really had to start, even if he only gets 65, 70 minutes, and you then see a sub in that area of the side. We needed to see him get some proper minutes under his belt, no pun intended. That one just slipped out, apologies. And because he's going to have to start on Tuesday. That's a huge game, and you need your two most recent signings, your headline dealers of the summer. These guys have to be fit and playing on Tuesday. To do that, they had to play this afternoon.
Viewers of this channel will know that I'm like the more sometimes you would call them pointless. I would call them small details that matter with football. And you asked Robin Proper what type of player he was. You were at the press conference, not me, yesterday, and I was delighted to hear that. He said the first thing he said was he was a build-up player, which I thought was interesting, Chris, because one of the main criticisms of Clement's football, justified criticisms of Clement's football at times, is that it has been too direct. Rangers, they want to attack quickly, they want to attack directly, but I thought you saw, even just to take it back to last week against Hearts, I thought you saw a lot of occasions where one player was trying to play quickly while others were trying to get him to slow down. And it's difficult when you're trying to play football fast and play into space, but you need that space of possession as well. And it felt like when Rangers did have possession last week, it was a lot of it was not going anywhere. It was in front of Hearts. Robin Proper, I think one of the main differences to watch out for him today, and I expect to see him on the left-hand side, when he talks about himself being a build-up player, I think he's a defender who can invite pressure. So Rangers have had players like Connor Goldson, really good diagonal passer of the ball, not someone who's going to step into midfield much. John Souttar's, again, someone whose his best attribute is ball carrying, not necessarily his passing. Leon Balogun as well, ball carrying. I think what you'll see with Proper, and we talked about this a little bit when he joined, he's someone who's comfortable inviting that pressure, which creates space. He's comfortable when the opposition press him at any given moment, then using that as an opportunity to play through. That should help Clement's football from back to front, because it has been too direct, and there's going to be a lot of onus on him because he is the new centrepiece of this defence. So there's going to be a lot of eyes on him today, but he's had a full pre-season, and it's time now to get him, I guess, in that team and probably not come out.
You would hope so. If he's coming back out of this side through injury or through form over the next few weeks, it doesn't bode well for Rangers. And as you say, he's the man. He spoke about replacing Connor Goldson to an extent in that press conference yesterday, and he has to. Now, I made the point when he first came in, Rangers didn't just have to replace Connor Goldson in terms of a shot. They had to replace him, but improve on him, because latterly Connor Goldson, I think he was still Rangers' best centre half for a lot of the time, but was not at the level that Rangers needed their best centre half to be at. Proper has to replace him, but be an improvement on him. I think, as you say, he will be different in terms of his style. Hopefully that helps the midfield. Certainly, obviously Barrie and Diomande in case of today. Hopefully that allows him to get on the ball, but slightly higher up. I think Tuesday night we saw Barrie having to come a lot deeper to try and get on the ball. That then leaves Rangers, who at times can be too easy to play through, shorter numbers in the middle of the pitch, the more you can get Barron and Diomande on the ball and going forward from the middle of the pitch rather than going forward from their own 18-yard box, it should make the whole thing a bit more conducive, a bit more joined up, and then hopefully Rangers then don't have to, as you outlined earlier on, they don't have to go as long at times. That's not to say you completely rule out that avenue of attack, but if the midfield is sitting too deep, they can almost then be bypassed at times as these balls are then being shelled up towards Dessers, or they've been played into channels just for wingers to try and chase lost causes almost. Rangers should have enough quality where their wide players are not chasing lost causes. They should be going into these areas knowing exactly how the build-up is going to unfold, knowing where the number 9 is going to be. So hopefully having a centre half like Probert, who is more comfortable on the ball, who is perhaps a better passer than what Rangers have and what they have had. Hopefully, as I say, that helps the midfield, because I think we've all been impressed with Barron, certainly with Diomande. Still midfield options to come in, a proper number 10 to come in there as well. So hopefully it should make the whole unit feel a bit more joined up.
Yeah, indeed. Finally, James Tavernier, I thought he was better in midweek. That'll need to obviously continue today, because I don't think he had a terrible game against Hearts, but he looked off the pace and definitely did look better away in Lublin on Tuesday night. Same for Ridvan Yilmaz, who made that mistake leading up to the goal, but I guess it's a positive that he is able to start games continually, because last season that certainly wasn't the case. And Václav Černý, Chris, we saw in a moment the quality that he had, and again, Derek and I discussed this on Wednesday's show, where we were saying, okay, he's come onto the pitch, he's only trained 5 times at that point. I think it was 6 as off yesterday, and he gave the ball away quite a lot. And he did look like a man who'd been on a 4-week holiday. But then I don't think you can underestimate the importance of Clement having out-and-out wingers for his system. There's a reason that he's not, even when he came into the club and they didn't have wingers, I think it's really telling that he still chose to play this system. And when he was in that one situation, it's a round peg in a round hole. He's done it 100 times before. He's good at that. And even though he's not fully sharp, he can still provide that moment of quality. So be interesting to see how he plays today, but also how it starts to impact the balance domestically for Rangers, having a natural player on that right-hand side and having a left footer on that right-hand side, which people have been calling for Rangers to sign for quite a while.
That right-hand side has been an issue, not just under Clement. It's been an issue for successive seasons, for successive managers. It's something that Rangers had to properly address in this transfer window. There's obviously a number of areas that needed to be addressed, but that was certainly one of them. That moment of quality should bode well, hopefully, if he's got that type of thing in his locker. As you say, it wasn't. He didn't come in and make an immediate impact and start controlling the game. It was a bit sloppy and a bit slack at times as he worked his way into it. But games are won in big moments. You need big players to step up in those big moments. And when he had the opportunity, shifted the ball well, beat his man, got the cross in. Dessers obviously does the rest. Dessers gets the headlines, but the ball is not there for Dessers to finish if Černý doesn't do his job properly in the build-up, and that's something we need to see him really bring that to the side. There's obviously issues on the left, because even if Hefty was to start, he's not an out-and-out winger in that same mould, certainly not as experienced as Černý. Also, the Cortez injury is a blow. A lot of talk about Abdallah potentially still coming back in. I think that would give Rangers two really interesting wide options on either flank. That's for further down the line, unfortunately. But while there is that issue on the left, we can't have that issue compounded on the right. So we really need to see Černý come in today. It's a big opportunity for him. Hopefully he gets a bit of space and hopefully he gets a bit of joy out of the Motherwell side.
Yeah, we shall see. We're going to leave it there. We'll be live, of course, at some point after the game. Keep up to date with us throughout the game at the National Stadium on all our social channels. Thank you for joining us. Subscribe to the Rangers Review if you've not done so already, because there is a lot of football coming up and we will be covering it all as ever. But until then, thank you for joining us. Speak to you at full time. Bye for now.